Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Mic 1 check, mic check 1 2. Hey, hey. Microphone. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Other than Julia Gomez.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You need my help?
Yeah, I would love that actually. Let's talk about that. I would love to talk about that.
Branding's my jam, dude.
I'm not good at it. It's like definitely not my jam.
You should never brand yourself.
Yeah.
You should never brand yourself.
I agree. Something's building up. Sounds like a beat. Man, I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm like nervous.
Test 1 2. Hey, hey, hey. We're checking on the mic, checking on the mic, checking on the mic. It's just the feedback from the computer. It's just the feedback from the computer. Hey! Hey! We're gonna talk and there's gonna be a delay, but I'm gonna turn this down. Sweet. Yeah! So there'll be something like this.
Could you put like a...
So this should help us a little bit to get...
Crap out of it.
This should be able to help us. because I just want to make sure it's not feeding back in itself. Now we should hear ourselves. There we go.
Should I?
Probably, yeah, we should mute that. What's up, everyone out there? Facebook, YouTube, Instagram land. Falcone here, live from Helping Our Music Evolves for Falcone Fridays. I'm here with the lovely Julia
Hi.
Gomez
I'm
here.
Julia.
And today we're going to do a 60-minute mix challenge. Where I'm gonna mix a song for an hour and see what happens and see how far I get. So before all that starts, we love to make sure everything's working out there in live stream land. So if the audio's messed up, if there's a delay, if there's a feedback loop happening, please let us know. Say something in the comments. We're always trying to get the tech better here, but it should be pretty much good to go. So we'll probably just test one on our own and see on our Facebook page if it's all working properly. I'm checking our feed and it seems to be. How about it? Mm-hmm. Everything looks to be switching over there on our other computer, so that's good.
So we're trying to go up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things at once.
Oh yeah, you're doing a lot.
That's awesome.
So currently we're streaming to.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm good. So we're currently streaming to H.O.M.E's Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, H.O.M.E's YouTube page, and my personal Instagram page.
And I'll repost it to my Instagram.
Yes, and Julia's going to repost it to her Instagram.
Wow,
so.
this is really kind of scary.
Well,
I'm excited.
This is what's fun. We're just going to have fun for an hour. So let's see if I can pull up my handy dandy timer. Here we go. So we're going to set the timer for a goal 60 minutes.
All right, don't mess up my song.
I'll try not to, Julia.
I'm just kidding. Impossible.
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 So, yeah, we're going to just try and start here and see what happens. Last time I used Pro Tools, we had a song that was already loaded up in Pro Tools, so I went ahead and mixed it there. Today, I'm going to be mixing in Ableton Live. I usually produce in Ableton Live, and I love Ableton Live, and Julia has been doing some demos herself and learning Ableton and producing, so we're working on her session today. I haven't seen it yet. This is the first time I'm going to be diving into it. So let's take a listen to it right now and see what we got. I'm going to move here kind of into where the drums come. And let's take a listen. Mute my mic.
Sing for me, oh backbone, take my backbone, make my old soul so naive. While you get my benefit of the doubt. All I get is let down. While you get my benefit of the doubt, all I get is let down. Don't listen to your heart this time. It's tricked you into sleep.
Cool. So that's the song we're working on. Very cool, Julia. Thank you for sharing this.
Yeah.
This is going to be exciting. So I'm going to just mix it kind of as I go here. I would probably, if I was doing this for a paid client, Julia and I would probably go through some sound design choices and reproduce some of this stuff, adding kind of more
tailored.
Yeah, custom sounds, a little more heavier weight to them, if you will. So, but I like to do this. I like to see how far I could take the sounds that we already have. So I'm going to show you some techniques that you could use to kind of do this yourself. But I'm just going to go ahead and start doing this. So first, what I'm going to do, if you pull up to my Ableton window there, you'll see Julia has a kick drum and a snare on the same track here, MIDI-wise. So I'm going to go ahead and separate those out by creating 2 new audio tracks. And let me go ahead and start my timer. So we got an hour. Here we go. So I'm going to rename this kick, and I'm going to rename this snare. And what I want to do is I want to take the individual sounds from this sampler here and put them on audio tracks. So what I'll do is, since they're coming from the hook, beat, and verb, if I select that as an input, you'll see underneath I'll get some more parameters here in the drop down menu. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select our kick here, and I'm going to put this track in input, and on the snare I'm going to do the same thing and go ahead and put that to be snare. So I'll put this in input, and I'll go ahead and turn my mic off so I won't feedback, and you'll hear what happens.
Your heart.
So now you'll see that the kick and the snare are now going to their individual tracks. And if I mute that or take them out of input, they go away. And if I put them in input, they come back. And what I did was I went ahead and muted the regular sampler here, because it will also come out of your our group here. So I don't want to hear that anymore. I just want to hear the individual tracks. I have my kick and snare, so I can manipulate those individually versus them being together on a stereo track. Julia was mentioning here she has a whole kit, so
Yeah.
this is usually okay to do when you're producing and stuff, just to get your ideas out. But when we're mixing it, again, I like to separate everything into its individual elements. So I can go ahead and do that. Make a bunch more audio tracks.
Brain exercise.
So then again, we just make this our kit here, and we can call it kick 2. And then I can go find, see, we have all our individual tracks here, so all I gotta do is
Yeah. Here, go click this. See this? It's gonna be one of those. It's gonna light up though. I'm pretty sure that's kick 2.
So it's named Kick 2 Felt.
It's very tedious.
Boy, that's a bunch, huh? Post mixer. So to save us time, I'm just gonna separate the kick and the snare out of this, and then let everything else go out the stereo.
Like cymbal type stuff.
Just so we can keep it pushing for this tutorial here. So let me go ahead and find a snare. Cool. So if I say, okay, kit, let's find our snare Lou. It's gonna be this.
I processed it though, so that's probably the more processed version.
Oh, yep, not on right now. So I'm going to create 2 groups here, snare bus and kick bus. So we know I'm going to just make them the colors that I usually like to make them. So those are kick and our snare. And we'll keep these as our tops.
Okay.
Name these tops. So we got hey 1 2. Now it is. Hey 1 2. Check 1 2. Okay, cool. So last week I was telling you I like to mix from the bottom up, so I build a cake. So I'm going to start with the bass and the kick drum and see what we can get going there. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to side chain this kick drum to our bass, our sub bass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another track here, and what I'm going to do is use this as our kick trigger. So I'm going to say, okay, the input is going to come from our kick bus, and then I want to send it out to our bass, which would be, let's rename this sub bass, and go back to our kick trigger here, sub bass, there it is. And then it'll give us another drop down menu and says, okay, it automatically goes to this side chain on our C6 because Ableton's smart like that. So
Yeah, it is.
yeah. So now we'll go back to our sub bass here, and then I can go ahead and make this floating band external. Hit side chain on in the top left. Make sure our kick trigger is in auto input. So like that. So cool, that's good for now on that. So let's get this vocal in now and see what we got.
Backbone, take my backbone, make my old soul so naive, while you get my benefit of the doubt. All I get is let down, while you get my benefit of the doubt. All I get is let down. Don't listen to your heart this time. It's tricked you in the sleepless nights. Don't let it last. Don't get attached. It runs you down and leads you blind. Don't listen to your heart this time, or risk everything and cross the line. Same for me. Oh, backbone, take my backbone, make my old soul so naive, while you get my benefit of the doubt. All I get is let down, while you get my benefit of the doubt. All I get is let down. Don't listen to your heart this time. It's tricked you in the sleepless nights. Don't let it last. Don't get attached. It runs you down and leads you blind. Don't listen to your heart benefit of the doubt. All I get is let down, while you get my benefit of the doubt. All I get is let down. Don't listen to your heart this time. It's tricked you in the sleepless nights. Don't let it last. Don't get attached. It runs you down and leads you blind. Don't listen to your heart this time, or risk everything and cross the line. Falling too fast from the start. Don't listen, listen, listen to your heart. Same for me. A backbone, take my backbone, make my old soul so naive, while you get my benefit of the doubt. All I get is let down, while you get my benefit of the doubt. All I get is let down. Don't listen to your heart this time. It's tricked you in the sleepless nights. Don't let it last. Don't get attached. It runs you down and leads you blind. Don't listen to your heart this time, or risk everything and cross the line. Falling too fast from the start. Don't listen, listen, listen to your heart. Same for me. A backbone, take my backbone, make my old soul so naive, while you get my benefit of the doubt. All I get.
Yeah, so I'll just getting lost in the sauce real quick. So we just put a little Waves tune on the vocal, kind of dealt with some of that dynamic issues with the vocal. So she's very kind of dynamic. She has loud parts and soft spots. So I'm using the 1176 here just to kind of control that a little bit overall dynamically. And then I'm using the C6 multi-band dynamics processor just to kind of tame some of the higher end frequencies and the high mids around 2K and 5K. She has a little harshness that's coming through in the 2K area, and then around 5K there's this kind of high end kind of distortion that happens primarily with female vocalists. So first, I like to control a lot of what I hear as problem areas first, and then I will dive into the more creative decisions of how I'm going to choose EQ to blend that in with the rest of the instruments and the rest of the stuff that's going on in the track. So first, again, I always try to deal with problems. What can I take away from the signal first? And then once I have everything kind of tamed, I start adding EQ and different compression effects to kind of bring it to life. So
what's the timer at?
The timer's at 40 minutes. So
I wish I could give him more time.
Bad phone calls, while you keep dodging these red flags. And honey, I used to paint them pink like human. You're only human, so come on, keep on playing me. Oh, backwards, I'm bending over. I'm hoping you do the same for me. Oh, backbone, take my backbone, make my old soul dodging these red flags. And honey, I used to paint them pink like human. You're only human, so come on, keep on playing me. Oh, let down. Don't listen to your heart this time. It's tricked you in the sleepless nights. Don't let it last. Don't get attached. It runs you down and leads you in the sleepless nights. Don't let it last, don't get attached. It runs you down and leads you blind. So come on, keep on playing me. Oh, backwards, I'm bending over. I'm hoping you do the same for me. Oh, backbone, take my backbone, make my old soul so naive. While you get my benefit of the doubt, all I get is let down. While you get my benefit of the doubt, all I get is let down. Don't listen to your heart this time. It's tricked you in the sleepless nights. Don't let it last, don't get attached. It runs you down and leads you blind. Don't listen to your heart this time, or risk everything and cross the line. Falling too fast from the start. Don't listen, listen, listen to your heart. Your heart.
Cool. So I was just dialing in a little bit more of this piano down here. I just put a little EQ and tamed some of the dynamic a little bit, added a little high end, took a little bit of the mid range out, and some of the low end frequencies that were competing with the bass.
For sure.
Also, I just added a little compression and a little EQ to our snare here to kind of get that to work with the rest of the instruments that we have so far. So again, like I try to focus on the main important instruments first and kind of get that working together, kind of find what my song is going to sound like, and then start to dive in to individual elements. So we'll go here and see what else we have. There's some guitars here that come in, so we'll kind of see what that sounds like.
Your heart this time, or risk everything and cross the line. Bad phone calls, while you get my benefit of the doubt. All I get is let down. While you get my benefit of the doubt, all I get is let down. bad phone calls while you get my benefit of the doubt. All I get is let down while you get my benefit of the doubt. All I get is let down. Don't listen to your heart this time. It's tricked you in the sleepless nights. Don't let it last. Don't get attached. It runs you down and leaves you blind. Don't listen to your heart this time, or risk everything and cross the line. Falling too fast from the start. Don't listen to your heart. Your heart.
So right now I'm just setting up some more return channels here to put some delay and reverb to the vocal. So throw a filter delay on reverb channel here, and I'm also going to put a compressor afterwards to do this little trick that I like to do, to where I sidechain the input of the compressor to itself. So
Bad phone calls.
when I send delay to
Bad
it,
phone calls.
it will compress the incoming signal and the delay so that it will only open when there's no signal present. So you can see
Calls. While you get my benefit of the doubt. All I get is let down. While you get my benefit of the doubt. All I get is let down.
so you can see that the compressor holds on to the signal until the vocal is no longer there, and it kind of creates room but still lets the vocal or the delay travel throughout the song.
Get another failed love. Can I get another sucker punch in the gut? So far, I haven't gone too far. Refining myself, the one. Tally, can I get another mark, please? Now they're lining my whole wall. So far, I'm looking at 5 feet of broken horror seats and bad phone calls.
So you can create real rhythmic tricks using techniques like this here, putting a compressor after the delay and then side chaining the input of the compressor to itself. So therefore, again,
Very interesting.
it will turn down, it will compress the delay until the dry signal is no longer present, and then it'll open up.
That's cool
So
as heck.
you can kind of create this kind of dancing sound that the delay will only jump out when you want it to, versus having to kind of do that in automation all the time. Usually you would automate the send to throw the dry signal into the delay only for that split moment. This kind of is doing the similar thing, but
It's more efficient.
it's more efficient, and it also has a different sound to it, because sometimes I like to have the delay going through the whole entire track so that it kind of is just underneath it. It adds a little body and a
Right.
little movement to the song, but sometimes that's way too much and just muddies up the whole thing. So this is a way,
Controlling that delay.
yeah, to really have that kind of same effect, being it really low, but then have it be louder when you want it to be. So
Get another
Super cool.
failed love. Can I get another suck?
Did you just think of that?
no, I didn't just think of that, but
I was like, the fuck?
I may have learned that from a friend or two, or
Yeah,
along the way. So
cool.
Get another failed love. Can I get another sucker punch?
So we'll see what that sounds like in
Don't
context.
get attached. It runs you down and leaves you blind. Don't listen to your heart this time, or risk everything and cross the line. Falling too fast from the start. Don't listen to your heart. Your heart. benefit of the doubt. All I get is let down, while you give my benefit of the doubt. Don't get attached, it runs you down and leaves you blind. Don't listen to your heart this time, or risk everything and cross the line. Falling too fast from the start. Don't listen, listen, listen to your heart. Your heart. Red flags, I'm dodging these red flags. And honey, I used to paint them pink. Like human, you're only human. So come on, keep on playing me. Oh, backwards, I'm bending over. I'm hoping you do the same for me. Oh, backbone, take my backbone, make my old soul so naive.
So another thing to kind of point out, I usually either keep the effects and stuff that artists give me on already if it doesn't sound bad or is not taken away from the sound, because most of the time that's the way the artist is hearing it or the producer's hearing it and they like that sound. So I encourage producers and artists to, when they're making their own music, to kind of approach it like a painter would. So you would feel free to express yourself with different colors and palettes. Make really broad strokes when you're producing. So if you want to do a crazy EQ curve like this on the guitar, that's fine, because that's the way you were hearing it. That's the vibe that you were going for when you were in the creative zone. So to me, I try to keep most of that as possible, unless it's taking away from the sound, unless there's something that I'm hearing that I can bring out more if it wasn't on. So again, for the lack of time that we have, Julia did a really good job getting a sense of where she wanted the song to go. So I'm kind of just, in this stage, I'm approaching it to kind of see where all those things sit. So if I'm not doing a lot right now, it's really because I'm just focusing on the blend and trying to see what needs to be featured and what doesn't. So that's kind of where we're at now.
Don't get attached. Red flags, I'm dodging these red flags. And honey, I used to paint them pink. Like human, you're only human.
So yeah, I'm still mixing here. Right now, I have a good blend on everything. I set up my go-to master chain here, which is an SSL comp here, just kissing the top a little bit with a 2-to-1 ratio. I always put the linear multiband compressor from Waves on there with auto makeup gain, and these clip indicators at the bottom indicate your clip peak mount thresholds. So I set the threshold to just kiss the top as well, taming our peaks. So keep those in control. Next, I go to the isotope stereo imager, putting everything below 170 hertz dead center mono. Because I like bass being mono, and then I spread out everything a little bit towards the top, and then I finished with a little Pro L2 from FabFilter. So once that's on, everything's pretty tight. This is where you go into start freezing tracks because it gets too much for your computer to run. Plus, my computer is taking a shit on me for some reason, which sucks. So I'm gonna freeze these real quick.
Dude, I gotta head out of here
and get more stuff. It's 4:33. How you like that? And Julia's got to bounce out of here. We got 17 minutes left.
Bye, Julia.
Thank you, Julia.
Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah, this is fun.
This is exciting.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see, like, I don't know. I'm curious to compare the two.
Cool, me too. So hopefully we'll have something good for you in 17 minutes.
Ooh.
Cool. Go back.
Looking at 5 feet of broken heart receipts and bad phone calls. While you get my benefit of the doubt, all I get is let down.
We're just freezing some tracks right now to get us some more CPU power.
Heck yeah.
We're live streaming right now, brother.
I think you would like the harmonica in that song. It's kind of kind of at the top of the cake, but what's up, Tom?
It's probably a lot of the reverbs that we have on a lot of these tracks here that's causing the issue. So
all right, you guys have a killer weekend.
Later, Julia.
Yeah, I'll see you guys sooner than later, maybe next Friday, but I'm not sure.
Cool.
All right, bye guys. Thanks.
Later.
Later.
My benefit of the doubt, all I get is let down. While you get my benefit of the doubt,
Must be the pianos that are causing the problem. Again, if anyone wants to be a part of Falcone Fridays here, make sure you submit a song to be in the running for me to select it and mix. I love doing this stuff, so...
members only, tell them to holler at me.
Yep, it's for members only. Make sure you holler at Logan at helpingmusic.org. And hopefully this will go smoother as we continue to go. Having just blanket stems, audio tracks for me to mix is probably what we'll end up doing. But since Julia had her song already broken down and enabled and like this, we kind of just went for it. So, yeah.
Sleepless nights, don't let it last, don't get attached. It runs you down and leads you blind. Don't listen to your heart this time, or risk everything and cross the line. Falling too fast from the start. Don't listen, listen, listen to your
cool right there. I use a limiter on her vocal because, again, she's very dynamic in how she's approaching her vocal. So I'm using an L1 on the group here after our main compression here and our C6 taming those harsh spots to just control the overall level. So I'm putting an out ceiling of -4 here to say, okay, it won't jump above -4 here. It kind of keeps the vocal in this nice little tight pocket. And before I added the RVox, which kind of it's basically an auto makeup gain compressor here that kind of allows us to tame the tops a little more and then brings up the lower information, the RMS information, and kind of keeps it in a nice little pocket. Again, not that much EQ happening yet to the vocal. It's kind of sitting in a nice place, so I don't have to really shape it too much.
Falling
So I'm going to go ahead and separate these toms real quick because that seems to be like a cool part that should come out a little more. So I'll go ahead and do that same technique for the toms here. Name this toms. And I'm going to say, you know, I can do it a different way here. I can go in to the individual tracks themselves. Let's see here, where's my mixer? Yeah. Something happened with the audio? Oh, can you guys hear me still? Probably just shut my voice down for a second. I had my foot switched backwards. So let's see. I could say, okay, that's going to come from tom, mid. There we go. And I'm just going to duplicate it again. Have it come from tom, floor, mid. Duplicate this one more time. And have it come from tom, mid here. All right, so put these in auto input. So we're missing one. High. So we'll go like this and duplicate this. And we'll go here. We'll make this one the high one. Mid and high. Here we go. I see. There's all these samples. That's why. So. Killer. So now we got our track stemmed out there, and you can see by doing this process how valuable it can be. Instead of keeping all your drums in a 2-track stereo file, if you separate all of them into their individual tracks, you'll be able to have much more control of the overall perceived loudness of your drums, because you're not fighting headroom on 2 channels. You have multiple channels to use the full dynamic range. So I'll put tom bus here. So, and I don't have to have this under our top, so I can just stem it out here. So now we got a kick bus, a snare bus, a tom bus, and the tops. So let's see what we got. And go like this. Let's see if I can bring anything out of this. They have this cool little drum bus plug-in. Cool, that sounds good. I'll go ahead and put some EQ on it real quick.
My benefit of the doubt, all I get.
So this is the toms before, some EQ. So I'll go ahead and turn all this stuff off real quick. This is our toms before. And our toms after some processing. Before. And after. Cool. So that was an hour, guys. Hopefully that was pretty cool for you guys to kind of see that process within Ableton Live. Next week we'll come back with another song for you guys to dive into. So thank you for checking it out. Hopefully it sounded all good. And yeah.
Bye-bye.
Peace.